A lot of people don't know, but there is a series of secrets that you can know and utilize to be able to have endless amounts of money start pouring in your life. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what these 5 secrets are, how you can take the shortcut and get there faster and start to realize all the wealth that you've always dreamed of. So I have a lot to cover in a very short period of time. So let's get into it. So everybody always seems to have these wealth secrets, and what I like to share with you is something a little different, because even though it's very important for you to go through the processes of finding yourself a side hustle business, fixing your personal credit, getting your business credit squared away, what a lot of people don't understand is that there's an underlying set of secrets that if you miss this part, then all the rest of the stuff you're trying to do is going to kind of fall apart like a cheap Walmart tent. And that's the last thing that we're going to want, because you want to start getting into the money and the wealth as fast as possible. So case in point, when I was in my younger years, I was always in this mad hurry to become as successful as possible. And I never took the time to do some of the back door stuff. And we're talking about the stuff that you need to do to lay the groundwork to be successful first. And I ended up setting myself back by decades. And so now that I understand exactly how things work on a higher level, I could bring this to you, so then that way you can kind of cut to the nitty gritty and become successful, starting to feel the process of getting money pouring into your life much faster than you ever thought possible. So I'm going to share with you my 5 secrets, my favorite 5 secrets to getting the money to come in faster. And then I'm also going to share with you at the end of this video how you can get my secret strategy of using these subliminal recordings that I have that I can give to you for free as a free download. So then that way you can kind of cut in line and get into this money flowage as fast as possible without really worrying so much on a conscious level how to do all this stuff, okay? So let's talk about my very, very first secret, and it is gratitude. So yes, you're probably thinking, Monica, yeah, I'm grateful. I do the whole thing at Thanksgiving. And I say that I'm grateful for this and that. And I do spend some time meditating about gratitude. But, is it a list? Because I found that over the years, my gratitude sometimes turns into a list. I'm grateful for this and I'm grateful for that. I feel like I'm listing off of, a grocery list. And unfortunately, it doesn't work in my favor, and it just kind of sizzles out. So what I urge you to do is start thinking about, not really thinking about it really, but feeling the gratitude of the things that are working in your life. So many of us take everything for granted, and you don't realize how lucky you have it, So I like to tell my story about how I had my daughter and I were on a Disney cruise going through the Mediterranean. This was many years ago. And it was during a time when a lot of the refugees were coming from Syria, and they were trying to make their way to Sicily. And so you saw it on the news, and it didn't really register or resonate with you or any of us, because you see all these things that are happening to other people and you really don't see it firsthand, and you just don't really have a connection to it. Well, we were on our ship going through the Mediterranean, passing Sicily, when our boat suddenly stopped. Our ship suddenly stopped because there were a boatload of Syrian refugees that were just stuck on this boat, and they were just stuck in the middle of nowhere. And I guess by maritime law, a ship must stop and then try to render aid, meaning to have the Coast Guard, the local Coast Guard, come out to help these people before the ship could leave. And so we were there for hours, just at a standstill. And I was looking at these poor people that didn't have anything. They had nothing. They just had whatever was in their small boat, whatever supplies they had. They were baking out in the extreme heat. And that's when I realized, probably for the first time in my life, that here we are on this Disney cruise. I spent at least $20,000 for this cruise to take my daughter on it. And we were so close to the reality of what it meant to have literally nothing, to be fleeing for your life, to be able to find a life somewhere else, to be willing to risk your life to find a better life somewhere else for your family. And it was at that moment that I realized what true gratitude was. I'm like, here I am on this expensive cruise, and these people are also on the same water in the Mediterranean, but they have quite a different life than I do. And that's when I realized what true gratitude meant. And so I don't like to always tell people to compare yourself to other people, but if that puts your life into perspective, then maybe you have to do that once in a while, because a lot of times people will think that they have nothing, and really, do you truly have nothing? Do you have a car to drive? Do you have food to eat today? Like, what does it really mean to you when you say you have nothing? Because if that's what you're focusing on, according to Wayne Dyer, what you focus your attention on will expand. And so if you're focusing in on what you don't have, you're going to attract more of what you don't have. And I think that's what most of your problems are, is that you're constantly getting bigger problems because all you're focusing in on is what you don't have. Start focusing in on what you do have. And even if you have to, create a gratitude journal. So then that way you can focus. It'll allow you to focus and have that pleasant feeling around the things that you're truly grateful for. The next success secret I have is meditation. I like to do meditation with the deep breathing exercise. I can only handle about 5 minutes of meditation at a time because my mind is just like a chipmunk. It's all over the place. And so if you can do some deep breathing exercises with some meditation to try to elevate and make sure that your vibrational level goes up, that's when you start to attract the better things in life. And so if the more times you could take that 5 minutes to meditate and to do some deep breathing, as much as you can stand it, to try to get your vibration up. You want to be able to get that vibration up to where you're feeling like you're on cloud 9, even if it's in spurts of time. And then that way you can start to attract the things that only resonate at that higher level, which is wealth, which is love, which is peace, which is joy, which is bliss. All the things that you want in your life only exist at that higher level. And if you're existing at a lower level, meaning that you're just angry, upset, despondent, shameful, full of regret, if you're at that lower level, then you're going to just attract more of that stuff. And so the only way out of that situation is to constantly keep pushing yourself up, and that is up in vibrational level. Another success secret that I have that I absolutely love, this is probably one of my favorite success secrets, is journaling. So I like to journal 3 pages a day. I journal every single day. I took it out of the playbook of Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, and I have journaled every single day for years, okay? And I usually do it in the morning, but sometimes I can't. And this allows me to kind of meditate at the same time as doing my gratitude exercises, at the same time as doing my affirmations, which I'm going to talk about soon. But it allows me to kind of roll everything all up in a big ball. I listen to peaceful music. Sometimes I light an incense, and I just sit there and I'm just tranquil for this time frame. And even if you have to get up 30 minutes earlier just to be able to do your peaceful exercises and meditations, it will change your life starting within a 30-day time frame or less. So if it's not worth it to you, then just don't do it. But then expect the same crap that you've had all these years and never be anything different, because if you're not willing to do anything to change it, it's never going to change for you. So journaling 3 pages a day. If you don't want to do 3 pages a day, just do 1 page. Just do a paragraph, whatever you want to do, just to start getting that flow going. And then you'll start to notice that the more elevated your vibration level is, you're going to start attracting business ideas, multi-million-dollar ideas, things that just exciting things that'll start popping into your brain that won't happen if you're just stuck and stagnant and thinking the same lame-ass thoughts every single day that you've been thinking for the last several years, which is why you're in the predicament you're in now. If you start letting that stuff go and start allowing yourself to increase your vibrational level while you're journaling and meditating, then you're going to notice some major changes, because you're going to start getting these awesome ideas in your brain that you should start acting on once you start getting the ideas. And then that leads me to the 4th secret, which is affirmations. Now, I don't do affirmations the same way everybody else does. Everybody else likes to do affirmations by saying I am or I will or whatever the case may be. I like to do affirmations differently, where I intend. So I always say I intend. So I intend on having a multi-million-dollar business doing fill in the blank. Or I intend on, starting a side hustle business that's going to earn me $20,000 a month in profits. You say I intend. And in fact, what you can also do is, once you can get a solid I intend statement, say for example having to do with your side hustle business, you want to write that down in your journal maybe 15 times a day just to really focus on that. So I intend on starting a profitable side hustle business that's going to earn me $20,000 in net profits per month. or whatever it is that you want, and you write that 15 times a day, that I intend statement, and you keep doing it till you start to get the business ideas as you're journaling and as you're meditating, and then you start acting on those business ideas as they come, okay? And then the final success secret, this is the success secret a lot of people don't like to talk about. It's tithing. Now, I don't necessarily believe in tithing in a church. Now, if you do, that's fine. That's good on you. If you believe in it, then by all means, tithe. It does not have to be 10% of your income, whatever you have. But tithing, through the ages, has proven to be probably one of the most profound success secrets on the planet. What I like to do is I like to tithe to, different charity groups that I believe heavily in. And I pick different ones. They don't have to be the same ones, but I like to tithe to different charities. And that's always boosted my income. So there's something about tithing. And again, it doesn't have to be specifically 10%, which is what the word tithing comes from, is tenth or 10%. You don't have to do 10%. You could just do whatever you have to start off. It could be like $50, $25, whatever it is that you have, just tithe that. And what you can do is just simply give. It could be giving to a homeless person on the side of the road. That does in fact count. As long as you have that sense of gratitude in your heart when you do the tithing process, that is where the magic comes in. And so you'll notice that that money will come back to you tenfold, usually within a very short period of time. Or something amazing is going to happen to you within about 24 to 48 hours after you tithe. It is the most amazing, magical trick that I have for you is tithing. So again, it doesn't have to be a ton of money. It doesn't have to be, more than maybe even $10. Maybe that's all you have. And maybe it's going to be the Salvation Guy's bucket as you walk out of Whole Foods or whatever. That's considered tithing in my book. Now, you might disagree. You might say it can only happen in a church. Well, if that's what you believe in, then by all means, have at it. Go ahead and tithe in a church. But I have found that I don't have to tithe in a church. I can tithe to, homeless people on the side of the road, as long as, I believe that I'm not doing it out of obligation. I'm trying to do it because, I feel like that's what my heart is calling me to do. Same with the charity organizations. So you can tithe in any which way you want to, and you can also tithe whatever amount you want to. But you want to do it consistently, because these blessings will start piling up and snowballing into something massively large to be able to give you what you truly want in life. It's truly magical. You have to try it to make sure that you know and you have proof that it works, because the only way that you're going to know that it works is by actually seeing the actions of your tithing. So those are my 5 success secrets. If you want to get my free book called The Lost Secret, you can go to school.com/Monica Main. If you can't get there like that, then go ahead and go to school.com/Monica Main/about. And you can get into my free group. Then you go into the classroom section and you can get the download of my free book called The Lost Secret. And that will explain to you how to increase your vibrational levels as quickly as possible and as often as possible, so you can completely start changing your life. I've seen people go from near destitution or even homelessness in some cases to starting a multi-million-dollar business within 30 to 60 days after reading that book and implementing everything I talk about in that book. So again, go to school.com/Monica Main. Go to the classroom section once you're admitted into the group, and then you can go ahead and get the download version. I still have physical versions available. They're not going to last forever, but it's taken months for us to get them out. So please note that getting the download version is going to be your fastest method of getting the information. You can also watch my PBS special called Main Way to Wealth. It's also available in the classroom section for free by simply, again, going to school.com/Monica Main. Because if you are in a situation that you don't want to be in anymore in your life, then now is the time for you to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and start doing something about it, rather than sitting around in a corner crying, being devastated, being fearful, being scared. Take control. And the only way that I can tell you to do that is by doing my 5 success secrets, immersing yourself in this positive stuff, meditating as often as you possibly can, getting that vibrational level up as often as you can, and start thinking differently. Because if other people have multi-million-dollar businesses that they started from nothing, you can do it too, because you have every advantage afforded to you just in the mere fact that you can listen to this video. You have internet, you can speak English, you can probably operate, the computer fairly well. You have the basics that you need to be able to operate a multi-million-dollar business if that's what you're looking for. So stop crying about what you don't have and what you don't have available to you, when in fact you have so much more available to you than you possibly can imagine. You just have to look at things differently and focus on different things. And the more positive stuff that you focus on, it will start to expand in your life and start to blossom into something absolutely amazing. And then pretty soon, you're going to have the life that you've always dreamed, just like I have for myself. So if you found that this was helpful and useful, give me a nice thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, drop me some comments about some additional videos that you'd like me to do. This is Monica Means signing off, and I will see you in the next video.